All right, so today we're working with classifying triangles by their angles and by their sides. So there are several different types of triangles, in fact 4 of the ones that we'll classify by angles. There's the right triangle with one right angle, 90 degree. Of course, a right angle equaling 90 degree. There's a classifying of an obtuse triangle, one obtuse angle, an angle between 90 and 180. There's acute triangles. All the angles are acute, meaning less than 90 but greater than 0. And then there's the equiangular, where all the angles are the same and they all have to be 60 because we know there's 180 degrees in each triangle when you add up the angles of a triangle. Now, one of the indications that an angle is the same is these arcs that you can draw to represent. Now, when you see that, that means that the angles that are marked are all the same size. So if I showed that, that would say that all of those angles are the same size, even if they're not listed that way. All right, so right angle, one right angle. Now, can you have more than one right angle in a triangle? If we tried to draw a triangle with more than one right angle, here's one right angle, here's another right angle. They can't possibly meet, and it can only be 3 sides, so these are never going to meet. So it's not possible to draw a triangle with more than one right angle, or a right angle and an obtuse angle, or 2 obtuse angles. Once you have something that's 90 degrees or greater, the rest have to be smaller than 90 degrees or acute. All right, so here's some examples. This angle, the angles are listed. See, these are not the same. So we've got one angle that's greater than 90. That is an obtuse triangle. Here we have an angle where it's 90 degrees. That is a right triangle. This angle, all of them are below 90 degrees, so that is an acute triangle. And finally, one where all the 3 are the same, and that we call equiangular. All right. Next, classifying by sides. Scalene triangles, no sides are the same. All of them are different. In an isosceles, at least 2 sides are the same. You can have all 3 sides the same, and that's a special case of an isosceles called an equilateral triangle, and that's where all 3 sides are the same. These things called tick marks are letting you know that these 2 sides that are marked have the same length. In this case, all 3 have the same length. So, if we look at these and we have to label them by angle and by side. Now they're going to have 2 labels, one from this group, one from this group. When I look at this, I see a right triangle, and all the sides are different, so that is a scalene. So we refer to that as a right scalene. Over here, now one of the things you have to be aware of when you take the MCAS test is that not all of the shapes that they draw are drawn to scale, meaning it might be a little bit off if you were physically to measure it, but it's labeled. So you have to go by the label, not what it looks like. Okay? So that's what it means by not drawn to scale. Go by the labeling, not what it looks like. This is not probably perfectly drawn. So again, we're going by the labeling, not what it looks like. I have 2 angles that are the same, but that doesn't really matter because we're going by the sides. And if 2 sides are the same, we know it's isosceles because not all 3 are the same. And all the angles are less than 90. So this would be an acute isosceles. It doesn't really matter whether you say isosceles acute or acute isosceles, same thing. And that's how you label and classify triangles by angles and sides. And that's all we're going to do for today.